person that should ever see us naked in a romantic context is our spouse, who's going to love all of us forever, inside and out. Amen? Amen. So, teens are even committing suicide over sexting when it goes viral, right? How come they don't commit suicide over a picture of their bike that goes viral? Oh no, everybody saw my bike! Kill myself! How come? How come? 2 reasons. Everyone sees it anyway, right? And it's not me. It's a possession. It's a thing. It's something outside of me. How about my elbow? Oh no, a picture of my elbow went viral! I'm gonna kill myself! Everyone saw my elbow! Okay, now this, everybody sees it anyway, but it is me, right? My elbow is me, right? Because we are our bodies. But what happens when it's my naked body and the most precious parts of my body where I give and receive love and life, all tied up with my vocation in life? Why do I commit suicide when those parts of my body are seen? Because our body's not a thing. It's not a possession that's outside of myself, right? And suddenly, teens, after they do this, they realize, I am my body. This is me. This is not a possession. This is not something separate from myself. It's me. It's the most personal part of myself that everyone has seen now. And they're laughing at me, or they're leering at me, or whatever. Okay? So you know how you can know what parts of your body are more precious? By how many slang words you have for them. How many slang words do we have for elbow? I can't think of one. Elbows are important. They're very helpful. I would miss my elbow if I didn't have 1 or 2 of them. But our other body parts that we have lots of slang words for, oh, those are special. See? Okay. So, what should you do if you have sexted or received sexting? Stop. Erase all the pictures. Tell your friends to do the same. You're doing them a favor. It's illegal, and these things will never die. Now, I asked myself, I'm Gen X. Who's Gen X here? Generation X? I think a lot of you parents are. Yeah. So, I often ask myself, how come we didn't create porn when we were growing up? I thought about it, because we had cameras and stuff. And then I was like, oh yeah. We had the photo lab. We had real film in our cameras. We didn't have digital anything. You had to drop it off at the little photo labs, and they had to report porn if they saw porn, right? People were creating porn. But then, I remembered something else. What else did we have, Gen X? Polaroids. We had the first instant cameras, the Polaroids, right? And it never entered our minds to create porn. We just didn't. We didn't think of doing that. Because we didn't live in a pornified culture. But y'all do. Not your fault. You didn't create this culture, young people. You grew up in it. It was created for adults. By adults, for you. Thank you very much. Okay. So, be a rebel. Rebel. Do theology of the Bible. So when I was growing up, and those of us who grew up before the digital world, porn was really hard to find. It was really hard to get. You had to go to those adult bookstores. There was nothing on television, no cable. We didn't have cable. It was nothing. You couldn't get anything anywhere. There was Playboy magazine. And then I grew up in Boston. So downtown Boston, we had the Pussycat Theater. And it was for losers. Porn was for losers. It was for, literally dirty old men. They wore the raincoats, the dirty old... We would watch them going into the theater, right? And my dad would be driving through the seedy part of town. My dad's like, eyes forward! Nothing to see here! And we're all looking out the window. And now we're all dirty old men. Because it's available, accessible, affordable, and accepted. Right? And anonymous. Okay. So there's nothing normal about porn. It's not normal at all. Don't be roadkill on the digital highway. our founder, Blessed James Alberone, he did not understand people who did not take control of their own media. He's like, we're in charge. We're not victims. We are not victims. We are in charge of our own media. Okay. So I do a lot of polls online, like informal polls. So I put a shout out to my friends. I have a lot of teens that follow me on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and also other things. Anyway, I put this poll out there and I said, who has escaped porn and how did you do it? I want to know. Nobody answered. I was like, okay, I probably just posted it at the wrong time. I kept posting. Nobody's answering me. I'm like, oh, this is not good. Then people started to message me privately and say, sister, I'm a porn addict, or I'm in recovery, or like telling me their horror stories of porn in their lives and what it did to them and their relationships. So finally, one guy, young guy from England, answers me and he goes, oh, sister, me and my friends don't use porn. And I'm like, well, how did you escape? Because it finds you, right? He goes, oh, sister, you have... Oh, this is my terrible British accent. He says, number one, you've got to decide that porn is evil. You have to have a plan. So when it does find you, you have to have a plan of how you're going to deal with it. You have to have a strategy and steps for avoiding it. But he said, number one, you have to decide what kind of a person you want to be. You know, have a plan for your life. The Janis Joplin plan. Not plan A, Satan's plan A or B. He said, you have to have goals in life. And porn is not going to help you reach one of your goals. It is going to interfere with all of your goals in life. So, we have to deal with porn on 3 levels. All right? We can't leave any of these out. So first, there is the human level. Deciding what kind of person we want to be. Trying to grow in chastity. Grace builds on nature and doesn't replace it. Okay? So there's that human side, willpower, making choices, porn prevention, taking all the steps to have filters and stuff on our computers, etc. But really, the best filters are the ones that are run in our own minds, right? Because we know young people, they're the ones that know how to get around the filters, right? But we still need them, especially for the youngest ones, right? There's covenanteyes.com. They give you all kinds of filters and stuff. Number 2 is the psychological level, the addictive level, so the medical health level. So I always tell priests, if they don't do it already, in confession, when people come and confess porn use, you have to tell them that they have to get help. Because you know what's actually happening right now? People are leaving the church over porn. They're saying, but I'm going to confession, and I'm praying rosaries. I never did that before, and I'm going to daily mass even, and I can't lick this porn addiction. Because it's an addiction, you can't just do it on the spiritual level. You know, you cannot just do it on that spiritual level. Very few people have, where you get a miraculous healing, kaboom, from God, right, on that. So yes, keep that up though. Keep up that spiritual sacramental level. But we have to get real help. So was anybody successful in separating completely the cream from the cake? No. Somebody was.
I want to see you.
Can you see the evidence? Okay, so we're going to stop and take another break until 3:05.